All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakar Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the Israel of Yahweh, the elected, the nation of Israel, all right? The believers that want for the Messiah, Yahweh Shai, to come back and they don't lie, nor believe any lies about the truth in regarding to the scriptures, man. And this is going to be a video on the curses that are upon the Israelite women in Isaiah, the 3rd chapter, right? Curses that are specifically for them. But before I start reading these things, I want to say this, man, right? When you look up how many videos get made on women, or how the topic of women continually gets brought up every single time in videos, right? 1 second. So lucky, yeah. Like how the topic of women always comes up so many times in a video, man, and how even though a video will literally come out where a brother will be like, oh, enough of the videos on women, but then right there and then a same video the next day will come out or the same hour by another couple of 5 other brothers bunning out women, and both videos had the spirit that leads to salvation in them, but the topic of women is going to keep coming up because the Israelite man desires to see the Israelite woman beautified because that's his woman. You understand? That's his woman, man. That's our women. But you Israelite women, when you hear these things, you don't believe that. You actually think that we hate your guts, right? And that all these videos and that all these talks and all these things that get said is to just completely bun you out without no silver lining involved. But there is a silver lining. You can repent. That's the silver lining. So before I go in and say what I'm going to say in this video, I want to say that, man, that the Israelite man seriously desires to see the Israelite woman beautified and changed, right? Now, they desire to see themselves change first more than the Israelite woman. But we desire to see the Israelite woman change, and to see an actual feminine Israelite woman, even when you see like a more feminine Israelite woman in this world, man, right? It's actually a beautiful thing if you see that. Or if you see an Israelite woman that she's like beautified herself, and that it's actually very beautiful to see that. More beautiful than if any other woman of this world does it. And this ain't no simping and none of that, because I'm not with all of that, man. Right? The Israelite woman can get told about herself the same way anyone else is, but every man that's an Israelite would agree with that, that it's more beautiful to see her. If you were to see the most beautiful woman that you would see exist on the earth, the most beautiful woman that you will still see, even now, without much the Israelite woman's had their beauty taken away, it would be on the Israelite woman, right? Even still now, right? But it just would be a very, very small percentage because Yahweh's took their beauty away to take away their pride, which is what this video is going to go into. This is Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 16. And Salakia for all that talking, by the way. But hopefully it was in line with the scriptures, man. This is Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 16. Moreover, Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and what with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Right? So these things that is going to be reading are specifically happening to the Israelite women, right? Because of their pride, right? Not because of anything that the Israelite man did that they can try and blame us for. Not because your children's baby father and all that wasn't around, or he didn't have a good enough job, or he made you have to work. So that's the reason why this and that's the reason why that. Not because he was living paycheck to paycheck and he couldn't handle the bills and all of this stuff. Not because of him cheating, committing adultery. You know what I mean? Not because of him not cooking a meal every now and again. Not because he didn't change the nappies. Not because of anything that any woman has ever said about any man ever on the earth, whichever was to still keep saying all the different reasons. Eventually, one of the things I would say would be something that a man out there, or every single man out there, would be able to say, yeah, a woman said that to me once or twice. Right? It's not because of this thing is not because of anything that men did that happened to the Israelite woman. Let me read it again. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 16. Moreover, Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and what with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. So because of them, not because of us, not because of anything that any other man trying to save women can say, oh, but you're making your woman have to do this, and you're making your woman have to do that. No, this is because of them. And sometimes, if you're being real, you have to accept that women have sinned too, man. Right? Women have sinned and transgressed the laws as well. So it's not just about bunning out men and trying to make men have accountability for things. women have got things that they need to be accountable for as well, right? And if you really deep the scriptures and go back to the book of Genesis, women have got even more, because it was Eve that transgressed. That's what the scriptures say, right? But people try and save Eve from even that. Verse 17, therefore Yahweh will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and Yahweh will discover their secret parts, right? So Yahweh is discovering the things that women are doing behind the scenes right now. He's discovering their lack of integrity, that how they'll try and laugh at men for not having money and stuff like that, but they'll be prepared to go to Dubai, and the things that they're prepared to do for money, we would never do, right? We would never. And I heard one of the elders say this. He said if there was a thing out there where men was being flown over to all these countries, and women, it was a group of women that are old and all that and decrepit and that, and they're trying to charge men to do these kind of things. Men wouldn't be prepared to do that stuff nowhere near as much as what women are prepared to. But women are prepared to do all that kind of stuff, man, because they love money, man. They worship that. If you think men worship money, no, women worship money way more. And you've got, thanks to this social media and all this stuff, women are on literally crying, and then they decide, you know what, I'm crying, I feel sad. Let me turn on the camera and start recording myself crying right in the camera, and they'll be crying in front of the camera. Yahweh's discovering their secret parts. He's exposing them with all these balloon pop shows, these podcasts. They're talking about all their escapades and the things that Dave did for money, whose bum they was eating and all this madness, right? Thinking that they're exposing someone, but they're exposing themselves as well. Talking about what they did with this rapper, what they did with this basketball player, what they did with this basketball team, right? Thinking that they're exposing men, but they're exposing themselves too, right? Verse 18, in that day Yahweh will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet and their calls and their round ties like the moon. Now I'm going to jump down to verse 24 first. Isaiah 3 and verse 24, and it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink, and instead of a girdle of rent, and instead of well-set hair, boldness. Now, nowhere in this scripture does it say that every single woman that's an Israelite was going to go through the boldness. But if anyone tries to dare say that the so-called black woman on average is not the, out of all women on the earth, the woman that has got hair of a long length the least, they are a damn liar, right? And why is that? Because they were the top tribe, Judah, Benjamin. They were the top tribe, Judah in particular. But Benjamin and Levi, that was also part of the southern kingdom, who were the kingdom that kept the laws more so than the northern. So they got this punishment harsher to humble their pride, man. Because had the Israelite woman not had that done to her right now, imagine how proud she'd be. No one would be able to come into her and say anything about weave to humble her pride, because she'd have it. She'd have it. But when that hair topic comes up for the Israelite woman, it's a sensitive topic, man. And some women will try and think, oh, this isn't talking about us so-called black women or us Israelite women in general, because I've got long hair, but they're thinking that they've got long hair because the majority of Israelite women do not have long hair. And even for the ones that do have long hair, okay, you've got long hair, but are you girt? Have you got a girdle instead of a rent? Yeah? Have you got a stomacher? You know, have you got burning instead of beauty? So you might have the long hair, but have you got the other part? Which part of these things in Isaiah chapter 3 are you lacking? Because there's going to be a lack in there somewhere. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 18. And in that day, Yahweh will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet and their calls and their round ties like the moon, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers. Have you got access to all of that? The old beautiful jewels that you see the Edomite woman with? Have you got access to those jewels that you can just wear, throw on them big jewels for a dinner party, and you've got a certain jewel that you wear just when you go to one dinner party? You got that? Or are you trying to copy what the Edomite woman does? She's got diamonds, you've got cubic zirconia. You know what I mean? Or even if you have got diamonds, you're going to having to go to her for the diamonds, and you ain't got the same kind of diamonds that she's got, have you? And you can say that we as the Israelite man, we don't have the same thing as Esau. We'd agree. I agree. I do not have nowhere near the same amount of financial success as Esau. This is his kingdom. We'd agree with you, and we'd understand why though. But do you understand why you're going through the things that you go through? Well, I've still yet to see one Israelite woman mention this curse and say that we're under that. I still have never seen it. I've saw women that look like other nations mention it. One woman in particular, I think her name's Tila Tequila. She mentioned this, and she said that the so-called black woman is going through this, and she was telling the truth when she said that, because it's the truth. Verse 20: the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings, the rings and the nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel, and the mantles and the wimples and the crisping pins. The Israelite woman ain't just rocking the finest of all the clothes right now. She's not. Because her access to those things was taken away from her. And it was taken away from her by the men of her nation having their power taken away from them. Because if the men of a woman's nation are doing great in life, then the woman's doing great in life. Because one of the ways how a man shows his wealth and shows his glory is by beautifying his woman. So all you Israelite women that have helped tear down the Israelite man, don't you realize you helped tear down yourself? All you Israelite women that are trying to weaken the Israelite man, right? Don't you realize you're weakening yourself, because that's your defense. That's been your defense when you was trying to weaken the men of your nation. You was weakening your defense. Haven't you heard what it says in the scriptures? That you got to first bind the strong man, but you men help bind him. And now look at you. Verse 23: the glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils. So some of you women might say, "Oh, I've not got a problem with growing hair." Okay, but what about the other parts though? Have you got burning instead of beauty? How are your clothes looking? Are they mixed fabrics, or is it the finest of the finest clothes? What's your life looking like? Huh? Is it great, or is it actually messed up, but you're faking like it's good? Having to take pictures of your feet or some madness to try and get that extra money up. Faking like you just got it going on, but you got 2-3 jobs, right? And if you lose one of those, your life's going to be way different. But then you're trying to make it like you're doing it big out here to try and prove a point to men, but really you're through. If you're really being honest, your life ain't as nice as you think it is. And neither is it gonna be, and neither is the man's life gonna be until the kingdom of heaven is activated, man. Which right now it's not. But I thought I would just go into this Isaiah 3, because some of the time a lot of women try and make it like, oh, we're not going through this because they can see a few Israelite women that have got long hair, right? As if the majority have it. The majority of Israelite women do not have long hair. We know this. And then they'll also try and use it as a reason why the Latino and the Native American women are not Israelites. But if you was to ask the Latino or Native American men about this, they would probably say different. They'd say, yeah, some of them can't grow hair, and they definitely say that some of them are girt. They got a gird instead of a rent, because I've seen videos where a lot of these Latino women ain't got that Latina look going. They're big. They're big. You know what I mean? Butterbean big. You know what I mean? And the average Israelite woman in general weighs too damn much. If we're being real, they're big, man. And that's part of the reason why they're proud, because they think because they're the same size as you when they're walking on the street, that they're the same strength, and they're not. Yeah? They're not the same strength. But that same Israelite woman might have long hair. One of them big women might have long hair, but she weighs the same as, you know what I mean, Deontay Wilder, and Deontay Wilder's 6'7", and they'll be 5 something. When even men, if they're weighing them kind of numbers some of the time, unless their BMI is right, they'll look through. You have to, when you're reading the scriptures, man, like, be real about what you're reading, man. And this thing right here that I read with the women losing their hair, no woman can't blame men for this. It's nothing to do with men's lack of this or lack of that, because men weren't charming enough, because men weren't this, men weren't that, men weren't around, men didn't do this, men didn't take care of you, men don't love you here, men don't love you there, men are always trying to blame women. It doesn't say that no in there. This is specifically because of the women, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and what we stretch forth necks and wanton eyes, not because of us. And maybe that's what I'll name this video, because of the daughters of Zion are haughty, not because of us, right? And on that, I'm going to say shalom, shalom.